July 26, 1944, 8:45 a.m. 12 checker-tailed P-51 Mustangs knife through the crisp alpine air near Graz, Austria. They're 7,000 feet above a formation of bombers. First Lieutenant Art Fiedler has the number 4 slot in a flight of 4.
We were long-range bomber escort. When we flew the 51, we could fly at least 650 miles.
Fiedler settles in for another uneventful 5-hour mission. Pilots call them milk runs. But just minutes into the mission, Fiedler spots something strange.
I look down to the left, and I see the most incredible formation I have ever seen. I see 8 airplanes flying line abreast, almost wingtip to wingtip. And there's not only one row, there are 8 rows of them. There are 64 airplanes. This is a fantastic formation.
Fiedler calls out the bogies.
Somebody said, they're P-51s. And I said, how can they be P-51s? I never saw 51s fly in a formation like that.
Within seconds, Fiedler's worst fears are realized. The mystery planes are Focke-Wulf 190s, Germany's most advanced piston-engine fighter. Their 30mm cannons lay waste to the bombers.
At this particular juncture, I said, they're bogies and they're hitting the bombers, I'm gone. I decide that if I shoot at the lead row of them, if I can hit any of them and have them pull up, that we can break the formation up and they'll stop shooting at the 17th.
But as he pulls up from his attack run, he's met with a horrifying sight.
There are 17s falling, pieces of them are falling. I see a B-17 roll over on its back, start down and spin. Second spin, the tail came off of it. There's at least 20 shoots. I've got to be careful where I'm going. I don't want to run into anybody.
Fiedler rolls away from the carnage, then spots a lone FW-190. Fiedler banks easily onto the German's tail and closes in for the kill. Suddenly, the 190 knifes hard right. Fiedler loses the bandit in the chase. The 190 pitches down into a steep dive. Fiedler noses over and maneuvers his P-51 behind the German. The 2 planes plunge earthward, 600 feet every second. Below the clouds, the rugged peaks of the Austrian Alps stretch out before them. The German noses up steeply into a climb. Fiedler claws for altitude.
I am astounded to see him coming straight down at me, and he's shooting at me. When he's coming down at me, I think, how the hell could he possibly go from straight up to straight down? And it seems like in just a couple of seconds. And that's exactly what was going through my mind. How is this possible?
Fiedler reverses and pursues his foe, closer and closer to the deck. They are hurtling earthward at over 450 miles per hour. During a wild chase to the deck, Art Fiedler has witnessed an FW-190 pilot performing impossibly difficult maneuvers. Now, Fiedler's locked on his tail in a high-speed pursuit through a mountain pass.
I'm about 400 yards, and I'm getting close enough to ready to start shooting at this guy. I remembered the advice that I had gotten from this World War I fighter pilot. that the easiest time to shoot an enemy airplane down is when he's trying to shoot one of yours down. So every time you're getting ready to shoot at an enemy airplane, be sure you check your tail.
Fiedler looks over his shoulder. Sure enough, another Focke-Wulf is diving on him. Fiedler comes to a stunning realization. His enemy wasn't superhuman. Fiedler's been fighting two FW-190s the whole time. Now the second 190 closes in for the kill. Fiedler will barrel roll, throwing off the German's aim while simultaneously slowing down enough to drop in behind the diving 190. Fiedler raises the Mustang's nose while pushing the stick over. The white-tipped Alps roll over his head as he drops into the Focke-Wulf's 6 o'clock. Payback time.
So I put my pipper out in front of him and started firing.
Fiedler hoses the German plane down with his 650 caliber Brownings. The FW-190 tumbles out of control.
And he crashed right there beside that barn.
Scratch one for Fiedler. But the first Focke-Wulf is somewhere up ahead.
So I keep going down the valley at full speed. I guess I travel about a minute and a half, and the canyon turns off to the left. And of course, I follow the canyon, and we now come to a wide expanse. And as I start looking around, I look at that mound, and here comes an airplane right at me.
But then, a friendly voice crackles through the radio.
And it says, if that's a P-51 coming towards me, waggle your wings. Well, I waggle the wings, of course.
It's Bill Lowry, a squadron mate of Fiedler's. The two Mustangs form up and search the skies for targets. Suddenly, Lowry dives for the deck.
As I look down there, I see a trail of black smoke from as far to the right as I can see.
A wounded German Me-109 flying just above the ground. Lowry saddles up for an easy kill.
He presses the trigger, and I guess the guns fire about 3 rounds, and he's out of ammunition. So he pulls up here and he says, "He's all yours, you lucky SOB," but he didn't say SOB.
Fiedler slides in behind the German.
I'm pulling up kind of slow on this 109, who's still going balls to the wall and smoking black smoke.
This low to the ground, a single miscalculation is fatal.
Lowry's sitting up here and he's yelling, "Shoot, shoot, shoot!" And I'm saying, "Hold your horses, hold your horses."
Fiedler closes to 250 yards. The panicked German elects to bail out, 10 feet off the ground at nearly 400 miles per hour. His body impacts the ground and bounces. Fiedler witnesses the gruesome sight.
This is incredible. The second bounce looks like he's bouncing right over my wing. In the third bounce, he bounces right into the wreckage of his Me-109, which is smashed into the ground and is now a rolling ball of fire. This was not a pleasant experience to see somebody killed like that. We have always expected that the air-to-air combat is machine against machine, and we don't normally get to see the blood and the guts, so this was pretty much of a shock.
Fiedler climbs to altitude and heads back to base. He has scored his 4th and 5th victories. Fiedler is an ace.